thank Dr. Pace and his team. I know that Ms. Abner and those are engaged in some deep work to seek to revamp, revise, and I will personally say potentially restore some of the elementary school programs and strategies that we had circa 2005 through 2008. I was actually, through the chair and colleagues, I was over the alternative educational program at the time, and we got national accolades. That was actually one of the platforms that provided an opportunity for me to be elevated to superintendent, is because we really had a comprehensive continuum for at-risk and underperforming students. As many of you know, that was subsequently discontinued post-2008. I was gone. And we see some of the impacts of not having programs. We talk about intervention, we talk about prevention, but our strategies don't align with our words. So I did have an opportunity to speak to Dr. Pace. I'm encouraged. I know the work of Ms. Abner, maybe I'm speaking Ms. Abner, who was a stellar principal in our district and has really worked with different groups in your vision, Mr. Superintendent, to recognize the need to address that. Having said that, as we explore strategies and programming for young children, we have to understand the role and the responsibility that parents play in that equation. I have the unique experience of having been an elementary school and a high school principal. And I took notes from an elementary school principal that worked in Liberty City that walked the projects, got parents involved, got them engaged, and prior to a major discourse regarding the role that men play in the learning and lives of children, she established a program called PARM, Positive African American Role Models. And that principal is Dr. Dorothy Bendross-Mendengal. Kendrick Meek and many of us were riding the community on bicycles at night and mentoring children during the day. I said all of that to say that as we take a look at what we're doing as a school system, when you start looking at the realities of young children, and I often said that, and I took a play out of that book, and Dr. Bendross-Mendengal, through the chair, you know I wrote it in one of my books. What I did at Liberty Square was really emulating what you did over at Scott Projects, and that is to get the parents engaged. I see Holly in the audience, to reclaim fathers and get them involved and understand that the work of this district, especially at the earlier years, cannot be navigated by the district alone. Through the chair, I would often say an elementary school child, specifically Board Member Colucci, from grades K through 3, pre-K through 3, their tardiness, their attendance is not a reflection of their own volition. A 6-year-old child who takes a gun to school and shoots a teacher in Virginia, May of this year in Alachua County, a 6-year-old who took a loaded weapon to school. These are not reflections and manifestations of the child's decision making. This is part and parcel to our commitment, our willingness to triangulate the role, the responsibility, and the accountability, and the involvement and the engagement of parents at those earlier years. So as we explore these different programs, we need to make sure that we're surgical, that we're intentional, that we're deliberate about that level of accountability and engagement, especially at the earlier years of parents. And last but not least, I don't want to even remotely have anyone to fathom a notion that parents don't care. I've never met a parent that doesn't care about their child. How they navigate this bureaucracy, how they navigate the day-to-day challenges of life, of poverty, of violence, of dysfunction in the home, those are things that we have to help them navigate through in support of their children. So I know we're going to be looking at that. It was laid on my spirit. We have time and time and time again examples. I gave you Virginia, 6-year-old shot a teacher, and you know the parent was subsequently held accountable post that incident. And most recently in Alachua County, I think in May, the state of Florida, 6-year-old again, loaded weapon in school. So we have the parent academies, Mr. Superintendent. I've always watched very carefully that work with some anticipation of a more differentiated approach based on different communities, and I said it in committee, what's needed in Coral Gables is not what's needed in Miami Springs, what's needed in Homestead is what's not needed in Miami Gardens, et cetera, et cetera. So as we formulate these programs, I implore you to look at a parent component in terms of how parents be a part of that process, be a part of that remediation. Parents now that are reflected on these agendas, I can ask the question, what is going to be their level of engagement? Are we asking them the question, what can we do to help you help your child? We know we have this notion of zero tolerance, violate the code of student conduct. But in an IEP and students who have exceptional education, Ms. Abner, we're always required to do a manifestation determination. And for those of you who don't understand what that means what are the triggers that manifested that behavior? To make that determination, is that behavior synonymous with the child's exceptionality? Or is this a result of bad decision making? I can go on, and I won't, but I'm unapologetically passionate and purposeful about this work and what we must do if we're going to save our children. We can't save our children if we don't try to work and support and help save parents and families. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.